நீங்கள் பார்த்துக் கொண்டிருப்பது ME24 தமிழ்.
From global icons to Canadian trailblazers, hear the stories behind the success. Only on Pioneer's Spotlight.
In today's competitive landscape, effective marketing is essential to elevate your brand. To achieve this, you need the expertise of true marketing professionals. Marketing Experts offers a comprehensive suite of services designed to boost your brand: event marketing, brand marketing, radio, TV, and digital marketing, movie theater ads, video and audio production, photo shoots, web design, graphic design, and printing. Unlock your brand's potential. Contact Anton Armanayam at 437-997-2307 today or visit www.marketingexpertsinc.ca. Marketing Experts, your partner in victory.
ME24 தமிழ் நெஞ்சங்களுக்கு என்னுடைய அன்பு வணக்கங்கள். நான் உங்களோட ஹோஸ்ட் பார்வதி and welcome to Pioneer Spotlight, where community leaders, entrepreneurs and trailblazers of the industry share their amazing journey. இன்னைக்கு we have a very special guest, Rizna Rishafy. She's a driven entrepreneur and a licensed paralegal. She focuses on landlord-tenant matters. So, welcome to our show, Ms. Rizna Rishafy.
Thank
How are you doing today?
Good. So far, so good.
You have a background in English literature. So, adhula irundha you shifted to law. Like that's one field is totally different from other. So why did you choose this particular field and what's the secret behind this transition?
I get that a lot. To be honest with you, reading and writing has always been my passion, right? Okay. It's still my passion. I believe it's
like a lot of people don't have it. Like in current time. Yeah.
Exactly. I would say it's still my first love, right? So
nice.
if I could just write for a living, I would definitely just write for a living.
Oh, okay.
But I love the law as well. I'm not saying I don't love it, but the thing is, I think to write, you have to actually live life first. So I was so young, right, that I didn't have much exposure to actual life to put something down on paper. Exactly.
Okay.
So now if I wrote something, yes, I would have something to, you know what I mean? Like color on like it has to come from somewhere.
Express. You have to express your
you have to actually have
like
experienced life. You have to be, exposed to things, which I didn't have, right? I was pretty much brought up in a very sheltered household.
Sheltered, okay.
Right?
You're very protected.
Yeah, very protected.
Yeah, kind of.
So,
like girls, kind of.
Yeah, exactly.
They have this kind of protected environment.
Exactly. So I wanted to write, but I felt whatever I wrote was very it wasn't what I wanted. It wasn't up to the standard that I wanted, right? So then I went into law and I discovered that I could still read a lot. I could still use my creativity because even in coming up with solutions in law, you have to use your creativity.
You could still,
but that's not going to make me. Yeah, exactly. But that's not going to make me stop writing, which I still do.
Okay.
And I'll never stop doing that.
Okay. Given if you are given now an opportunity to choose law and art, which one would you choose?
I would definitely, if I could, if you're asking me, okay, what would you want to do as something that lets me live without having to work?
Like forget about the money and
I would definitely want to be a writer.
Okay.
Right? Because that is, like I said, my first love.
First love.
Right? But then there are so many lawyers who eventually become writers as well.
Okay.
Because, law exposes you to a lot in life. So that gives me basically what I was seeking when I was younger that I didn't have.
The experience.
The exposure and the experience.
Exposure, to write. And now you have that.
Exactly.
Now that you have it.
Maybe one day, who knows, you'll see my name on a
who
book.
knows, you'll win a Booker and I'll come and interview you.
Exactly.
Okay, that's nice. So why to this paralegal sector, instead of choosing the law, or becoming a lawyer?
Well, here's the thing, right? To be a lawyer, you have to invest a lot more time and a lot more years. So I guess I was impatient. I guess you could say that.
Okay. You want to think so far.
Okay. Yeah, and also, especially if you want to do law here, right?
Yeah.
You got to have at least $100,000 to be honest with you, if you want to go the whole journey, right?
Okay. And the studies.
And I hate debt. If there's one thing I hate, it's debt. Right? I don't believe in paying off student debt for years and years. So I thought, okay, let me look for a faster avenue. And if I still want to do it, even now, if I still want to do it, I can do law. right? There's always, that avenue is always open for me.
Yeah.
But then in Ontario, we're really lucky as paralegals because we're actually like junior lawyers, right? It's not like in the US or anywhere else where paralegals are actually glorified assistants, right? We're more like junior, we're more like junior lawyers. We're not just assisting lawyers, we're also representing clients. So then I thought, okay, there's so much I can do, right? I can practice with tribunals, I can still go to court. Even some immigration matters we can do.
Okay.
So I thought, okay.
There are like close scope and opportunity
Exactly.
for paralegals.
A lot.
In Ontario.
Exactly.
Okay.
So then I started practicing as a paralegal. I was very fortunate, right? I practiced under some really good lawyers as well. I learned a lot. And then I established my own practice after COVID, and I'm here right now.
So that's what I wanted to ask you next. Like when you're starting off, like you're a fresher, you don't know nothing, you know much about the field, and how, like what was the process? Like you need experience. How did you find these, mentors, or like how did you gain this experience in order to shine in this field?
For that, I have to thank the Tamil community. Right, because I'm Tamil speaking, I get along very well with the Tamil community, and we have a lot of friends in the community. So they actually connected me to some really good lawyers, right? Tamil lawyers who actually took the time to teach me what I needed to know. So that's where I began, and then eventually I got the exposure I needed to even start my own practice, right? So I got to be thankful to, I guess, my Tamils community in Canada. Yes, exactly.
Community people. Okay. So, like, did you do what did you do? Like internships or like what was the path to?
Pretty much. So at the very beginning, I even did unpaid internships.
Internships. So how did those help in like like in molding you to the position where you are now?
Right. So I was very lucky because when you're an intern, right, and when you're given access to all the information and all the documentation, especially to do with litigation, right, I was also very fortunate to work with Maliha Wilson. Maliha Wilson at
she's
Namala.
very famous.
She is amazing, and I had a really good relationship, right? So I got access to all these documents, and she would even tell me, read up. Learn, so this is how you get to know exactly what you need to know to practice in the field. So I think it all starts with reading. Funnily enough, like my love of reading definitely helped. Yeah.
Somewhere or the other. You are like more into landlord-tenant matters, and why did you specifically choose that area?
To be honest with you, it wasn't a conscious decision.
Okay.
But I think there's
it sort of chose you.
kind of.
Okay.
So when I was at Now Wilson as well, right? Like there was a need for that, for practicing, for legal reps in that area. Because see, lawyers a lot of the time are not willing to take on tribunal matters, and it doesn't really. It's not as glamorous, exactly, right?
Okay.
So and also clients as well, right?
Yeah.
So think about it. Some of these clients are tenants. The rent itself is maybe $2,000.
Yeah, so with Ontario, like real estate, it's like
especially now. Especially now, it's even worse, right? So when I started, it was still pretty bad. So imagine they wouldn't want to pay a lawyer $5,000 to resolve a case when their rent itself is
$2,000.
Yeah,
might waste money.
Yeah. So this is where access to justice comes in. So access to justice is basically, paralegals like myself. We give people the option to have legal representation at a decent cost. Elena, it doesn't make sense, right? Like if you're forced to go to a lawyer each time, then they're left with no option in some cases because they actually don't have the money in some cases.
Exactly.
So then I felt, I'm also providing a service there.
Okay.
In a way.
Okay. That's good. That's good. So with like increasing tenant defaults and board delays, like there are a lot of things happening behind the scenes, right? Like, so how do you like guide these people, especially landlords, when it comes to this field?
Okay, so here's the thing, right? Everybody thinks that it's easy to just read up and file an application. Yes, fair enough. In the information area online you can read it and try filing these applications, but the problem is there's so many rules that regular lay people are not aware of, right? நிறைய பேருக்கு அதெல்லாம் தெரியாது. Like there are certain dates.
Many people they're uneducated about.
And fair enough. It's obviously like if I only know these things because I'm in the field. நான் இந்த ஃபீல்ட்ல இருக்க போய் தான் எனக்கே தெரிய வருது.
What's the need of these things?
So they make mistakes, and a lot of the clients who come to me, they come to me because they've made a mistake and they've had their application dismissed. Right? So think about it. Like they wait for months just to get a hearing date, and the hearing date kechapra all that happens is
just because the they're not
you missed this misspelled a name, so I'm going to dismiss this application.
That's sad.
Right?
Like just because they made some mistake without their knowledge.
And for example, evidence submit pandradhukkum rules neriya irukku, right? So for example, 7 days before a hearing you have to submit the evidence. A lot of people, they're not aware of those deadlines.
Okay. Even I don't know. Like I'm new to this.
So exactly. So once if you miss a deadline and go to a hearing, there's every chance that it's going to get
dismissed a motion, right? Or something. Okay.
So that's where we come in. So we prevent those things from happening, and we save you a lot of time down the line.
Yeah, obviously. In Ontario, like in present days, like there are a lot of paralegals. Like you have a lot of competition in your field.
Yes,
so how do you tackle? Like I think many people understood like being a paralegal is
exactly.
It's kind of easy, and it's good. So like how do you tackle this? Like
So here's the thing, right? I think it's about confidence. So you can't really think that way, because if you do, then you can't really do anything. Because I feel like these days there's a competition in everything.
Every field,
right? In every field.
Not only in your field. Like,
So you cannot go in with that mindset, I think. And as far as the competition, a lot of paralegals, they don't really, they do start businesses, but I feel that the percentage of paralegals who actually start their own business is still a little on the low end.
Okay, like they may be assisting a lawyer. Like
exactly.
Okay.
So that's what I feel. But I prefer not to think about it. If I think about it, then adha patti micha yosna panna, maybe I will exactly.
Like you can do pretty much anything. So
so I try not to think about
it. Okay. Why paralegals are essential for these, say for example, in tribunal matters, legal assistance. Like what do you think, what a paralegal can bring to the table?
I think the main thing is access to justice. Right? Everybody deserves representation. Everybody deserves the legal representation that they require, right? I think that's the main thing. And I think as far as assisting a lawyer goes, I know paralegals who are, I can even say, better than lawyers. I'm sorry, I have to say this. Nothing against lawyers. But because
there are examples.
And the truth is we have to work harder than lawyers. We have to work harder than lawyers, because still there are people who don't know that our scope of practice is so vast, right? So
maybe they'll jump everything and file. Okay, you do the groundwork.
They go paralegal thane. This is not a lawyer. Apdi nenakkiradhu undu, right? But the thing is, I think we still have to prove ourselves. So I've had some comments too from some people, especially on the other side, who try to say, oh, you're just a paralegal.
Not just a paralegal. Tons of work.
But I feel it makes me work harder because it gives you that dil or whatever you call it.
Okay, to work harder, even work harder and push your limits. Okay.
Exactly.
So, what kind of challenges do you face? Like when you're, you have been in this field like for over how many years?
For my own practice for 4 years now.
But you're in this field for over
6 years.
Over 6 years. So you may have faced many challenges through your journey, right? Like what do you feel like? Can you tell me one incident that you cannot forget, or which challenged you the most?
Okay, so when you talk about challenges, you have to think on your feet a lot. right? About hearing.
Yes.
When you go to a hearing, you are prepared, you have all the information in front of you, but it's like I always tell my clients.
But something comes out of the blue. And
Yeah, I always
you cannot
exactly. I always
predict something happening.
yeah. I always tell my clients it's like a tennis match, right? You gotta play the game as the ball is served. Sometimes you don't know what the other side comes up with.
Yes.
Especially when you're representing a landlord, the tenants will come with all sorts of, எனக்கு இப்படி நடந்தது அப்படி நடந்தது, the landlord did this, இப்படி பண்ணாங்க அப்படி பண்ணாங்கன்னு வருவாங்க. Okay?
Yeah.
And so you have to be able to deal with that, think on your feet. That's the biggest challenge.
Yeah.
And some days, I haven't slept well. I haven't, I'm hungry, I'm tired, but still my mind has
all
to
over
be,
the place.
Yeah, my mind has to be like sharp. So that is, pretty much what I have to focus on.
Okay. So, like over your journey, you have had many mentors, some guides, like who walked you through like what you are today, and how has it helped, like your experience with the clients, with like what you learned from the guides, how has it helped you like to be in a position like you're in today?
Okay, so what it helped me with most is confidence, right?
Confidence.
Because one thing I noticed in all these lawyers, so before you meet these people, they're big names, right? So I was very lucky to work with some big names. So you think, oh my God, they must be like, you put them on a pedestal because you're in the same field, right?
Yeah.
But then when you meet them, you realize, yes, they have this confidence which is unshakable, right?
Yeah.
That's why they are in the position they're in.
So whatever is the best ornament you can wear.
Yeah. So it doesn't matter what challenges they face, they have that sort of stability in themselves, right? But one other thing I noticed as well was the humanness.
Humanity.
Human
nature.
They have the weaknesses just like anybody else.
Yeah.
Just like anybody else. They can forget things. They can, they have those little things that make us all human. So it made me think, okay, you know what? Yes, they are as amazing as they are.
They are
but they're still human. They still had to go through the
human
whole
errors
process.
Or whatever.
Yeah. So that is I felt like that's what gave me the courage to start my own business too, because business carries a risk, right?
Yes.
It's not for everybody.
Every entrepreneur.
Yeah. So
it comes with its own risks and baggages.
Exactly.
Okay.
So that's what I felt I learned. The most valuable thing.
So, like, what do you have to tell if say a new person, a newbie, he or she is interested in pursuing your field? So what kind of advice do you want to give to that person?
Okay. So what I would say is you have to have grit. So grit means it doesn't matter what happens. If you have a goal, right, it's not going to be easy. So you might run into roadblocks. There'll be people who I've had people tell me, oh, maybe you shouldn't do this, because I started in 2020, right? The COVID, it was the COVID time.
The market was...
they were like, this is COVID time. What are you doing starting a business at this time?
Many people were afraid to start anything, any ventures or any kind of businesses, especially during that time.
Exactly. And they said, oh, why don't you work for one of these big law firms? They'll pay you. So it's most stable, right?
And a source of, stable source of income. And everybody seeks stability.
Exactly. But then you have to have the grit. And sometimes there are days when I question myself. I'm like, why did I do this? Because it's stressful. The legal field is, I would say, up there with one of the most stressful fields, right? Why? Because people come to you with a problem. When do people come to a legal rep? When they have a problem, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So then you take on some of their anxiety, some of their, worries, right? So sometimes, and obviously, you win some, you lose some.
It's part of the game.
That is part of the game, right? So it's very easy to say, oh my God, you know what, maybe this isn't for me. I have those moments of self-doubt too.
Okay.
And it's very important to remember, you know what? No, I chose this. I chose to do this. And I'm not going to stop. I'm not going to back out. I'm not going to give up. So that grit is important if you decide to,
choose
get into
this
the field.
field.
Yeah, it's very important because without that, I can see people giving up very easily.
So do not give up.
Yes. 100%.
That's what you would like to. Okay. So with in the field of law, like there are like some new rules happening every time. So they bring some changes over the time, and how do you keep yourself updated?
Again, it's reading. It's reading.
And back to back to you.
It always goes, that's the thing. Like in law, you end up reading a lot, right? You read a lot, especially old cases. You gotta be
like reference cases or something.
Presidents, right? Yeah. So you gotta stay up to date, stay very informed, and you're very right. It changes so often that if you don't do that, then you can easily make a mistake that costs your client a lot of money.
Yeah. Okay. So, what are your upcoming plans? Like, do you have some flagship kind of projects, or like what are your plans for future?
You know what? There's a lot of need in the landlord and tenant space, right? So I think property management might be
property management.
Yeah. So that connected to the legal side of things, right? So I feel like it's something I might look into eventually.
Okay.
Yeah. So we'll see. That's just a sort of idea at this point, but there's so much I can do, thankfully, in law. I might even eventually become a lawyer.
Okay.
Yes.
That's a very good area to look up to.
Yeah.
So it was nice having you. And
it was amazing speaking to you as well.
Yeah. So listening to your journey from literature to law, that's quite a journey you have had there. And so we've heard a lot about you. So how do people reach out to you? Service how do we?
Well, the best thing is to give me a call, and you can get all my information online. I've got a website as well, creedlegal.ca.
Okay, we are in the you can see the number. So if you want to reach out to Rizna, you can call her, or give her a call, or reach out to her.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You can also email me at riz@creedlegal.ca or info@creedlegal.ca.
So what do you have to tell our viewers, ME24 Tamil viewers, and let's hear it from you.
Well, the world is your oyster. Whatever you plan to do, just do it. There's so many, resources at your disposal. Whatever you want to learn, there's tons of free information as well if you want to learn, right? Whether it's YouTube videos, whether it's websites, whatever it is. So inform yourself and just go do whatever you want to do.
Okay. That was nice. So listen to her. She, from one who reads and educates herself and updates herself with constant information. So that's what she's saying. Read, educate yourself. Okay. So thank you for joining us on ME24 Tamil, and wonderful having you here today with us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. ME24 Tamil Pathukondirupra viewers, if you are interested in our YouTube channel, we are providing the link below. Do like, share and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Meendum oru Pioneer Spotlight episode la sandhikkum varaikkum. This is your host Parvati signing off. Nandri, vanakkam.
In today's competitive landscape, effective marketing is essential to elevate your brand. To achieve this, you need the expertise of true marketing professionals. Marketing Experts offers a comprehensive suite of services designed to boost your brand: event marketing, brand marketing, radio, TV, and digital marketing, movie theater ads, video and audio production, photo shoots, web design, graphic design, and printing. Unlock your brand's potential. Contact Anton Armanayam at 437-997-2307 today, or visit www.marketingexpertsinc.ca. Marketing Experts, your partner in victory.
From global icons to Canadian trailblazers, Hear the stories behind the success. Only on Pioneers Spotlight.
நீங்கள் பார்த்துக் கொண்டிருப்பது ME24 தமிழ்.